What if I told you that one man made a choice so powerful, it changed an entire country forever? Not with one battle. Not with one speech. But with one simple step across a tiny river. And here's the twist. He thought he was doing the right thing. By the end of this story, you'll understand how Julius Caesar didn't just become famous, he accidentally destroyed the system that made Rome strong. A very long time ago, Rome wasn't ruled by a king or emperor. It was something called a republic. That means no one person was in charge. Instead, leaders worked together, made laws, and shared power. It was kind of like a big group project where everyone had a say. Sounds fair, right? But here's the problem. Not everyone in Rome was treated fairly. Rich people had most of the money and land. Poor people struggled to survive. Soldiers who fought for Rome would come back home only to find they had nothing left. Imagine working really hard for a team, and when you return, someone else has taken everything you owned. That made people angry. And when people are angry for too long, big changes start to happen. Now, this is where Julius Caesar enters the story. He wasn't born the most powerful man in Rome. In fact, he started off with a big problem. He owed a lot of money. But Caesar was very smart. He knew how to talk to people. He gave exciting speeches. He promised to help the poor and fix problems. He made people feel like he understood them. And slowly, more and more people started to like him. But here's where it gets interesting. Caesar realized something most leaders didn't understand. If people love you enough, you can become more powerful than the rules. So he made powerful friends. He teamed up with two important leaders, Pompey and Crassus. Together, they formed a group that secretly controlled Rome. Think of it like three bosses running everything behind the scenes. And for a while it worked perfectly. Then Caesar got a huge opportunity. He was given control of an army and sent to a place called Gaul, which is like modern-day France. And this is where everything changed. Caesar didn't just win battles. He won again and again and again. He defeated huge armies. He conquered massive lands. He became a hero. People back in Rome started hearing stories about him. His name became famous. But something even more important was happening. His soldiers became loyal to him. Not to Rome. To him. They trusted him. They followed him. They believed in him. Now think about that for a second. An army that listens more to one man than the country itself? That's very powerful and very dangerous. Back in Rome, the leaders called the Senate were watching closely. And they started to get worried. Caesar was becoming too strong. Too popular. Too powerful. So they made a decision. They told him, "Come back to Rome, but leave your army behind." Now this might sound normal, but it wasn't. Because without his army, Caesar would be weak. His enemies could arrest him, punish him, or even kill him. So Caesar had a choice to make. Follow the rules and lose everything. Or break the rules and protect himself. And this is the moment where history changes forever. There was a small river called the Rubicon. And Rome had a very strict rule. No general was allowed to cross that river with an army. If you did, it meant war. Caesar stood there, thinking about his future. If he turned back, he would lose everything. If he crossed, he would start a civil war. Then he made his decision. He stepped forward. He crossed the river. And just like that, everything changed. That one step wasn't just breaking a rule. It was breaking the entire system. Now Rome wasn't fighting enemies from other lands anymore. It was fighting itself. Friends became enemies. soldiers fought other Roman soldiers. Cities were attacked. This was called a civil war. Caesar went after his biggest rival, Pompey. They fought across different places: Italy, Greece, even Egypt. Eventually, Caesar won. Pompey was defeated, and Caesar became the strongest man in Rome. But here's the thing. This war wasn't about saving Rome anymore. It was about power. And Caesar had almost all of it. When Caesar returned to Rome, people cheered. He had won the war. He was made dictator for life. That means he could rule forever. Now think about that. Rome was supposed to share power between many leaders. But now, one man had it all. Even though Caesar tried to help people, he made new laws, fixed problems, and even forgave some enemies. Many leaders were scared. They thought, if we don't stop him, he will become a king. And in Rome, being a king was something people feared. So a group of leaders made a secret plan. They believed they were saving Rome. But what they planned would become one of the most famous betrayals in history. On March 15th, a day known as the Ides of March, Caesar walked into a meeting. He trusted the people around him. He didn't know what was about to happen. Suddenly, they attacked him. They stabbed him again and again. And one of the people who attacked him was Brutus. Someone Caesar trusted deeply. Maybe even like family. Imagine your closest friend turning against you like that. That's why this moment is remembered as one of the greatest betrayals ever. But here's the shocking part. Killing Caesar didn't fix anything. In fact, it made things worse. More chaos began. More fighting. More wars. The people who killed Caesar thought they were saving the Republic. But instead, they pushed Rome closer to destruction. And out of all that chaos, a new leader rose. His name was Octavian. He was Caesar's adopted son. He fought against everyone else and won. And in the end, he became Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. That means Rome was no longer a republic. It was now an empire. So what does all of this mean? Did Caesar betray Rome? Or was Rome already broken? Here's the truth. Rome had problems long before Caesar came along. The system wasn't fair. The rich had too much power. The poor were struggling. Caesar didn't create these problems. But he used them. He saw an opportunity and he took it. He broke the rules, but those rules were already starting to fall apart. And by trying to take control, he ended up changing Rome forever. In the end, one man didn't just cross a river, he crossed a line that could never be undone. And once that happened, Rome could never go back to the way it was before. If you enjoyed this story, you'll love learning about how other empires rose and fell, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.